Hey guys, my name's Rachel and I'm the host of Botanical Buzz. I'm looking to change things up a bit from how I intended on doing it. I want it to be a little more personable as I present to you new information. So I'm looking forward to doing this with you guys. Each episode will target new findings or research in the plant kingdom. And I'll begin each episode with a little introduction that will be presented so novices can follow along with experts and with our findings on the new information in the scientific community. So I'm really looking forward to going on this adventure with you guys. I already found out cool information I'm excited to share on next week's episode. So without further ado, let's get to the first episode of the Botanical Buzz. This week's episode is titled Unraveling Nature's Secret Language. Welcome to the Botanical Buzz. Again, I'm your host, Rachel, and this is your source for latest update and novel plant knowledge. We'll be looking into the fascinating world of plant-mycorrhizal interactions and the role of volatile organic compounds in plant defense. So let's jump right in. Before we begin with our topic, let's begin with a brief introduction. Plants produce a wide range of volatile compounds, which are low molecular weight secondary metabolites that evaporate into the air. These compounds serve various purposes, including defense against pathogens and communication with other microorganisms. One key player in this intricate system is arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi, or AMFs, which we are now going to refer to as AMFs because I can't say that once, let alone 5 times fast. They have the ability to modify VOC patterns in plants, potentially promoting plant defense through direct and indirect mechanisms. AMFs are a type of mycorrhizal fungi that form mutualistic associations with plant roots. This symbiotic relationship benefits both parties involved as the fungi provides nutrients to the plants while receiving carbohydrates in return. Studies have shown that AMFs can enhance plant immunity, growth, and yield. They may also increase the concentration of phenolic compounds and the activity of defense-related enzymes, leading to stronger plant defenses against pathogens. The following information we will discuss in this episode is from a study called Unearthing the Alteration in Plant Volatiles Induced by Mycorrhizal Fungi, a Shield Against Plant Pathogens. You can find the citation of this study in the episode notes to read at your leisure. I wanted to discuss information from the introduction of this study as I found it very important as well as fascinating. AMF colonize over 80% of plant species, a phenomenal communication system. Most research has focused on AMF-induced emissions of VOCs. To date, most research evaluating how AMF influences plant VOC emissions has been restricted to agricultural plant species. AMF may change the correlations between VOC emissions and foliar metabolite synthesis by affecting plant nutrient absorption and interfering with plant defense signaling pathways. Possible applications of VOCs in agriculture include the suppression of pathogen development through volatile-mediated inhibition and the enhancement of systemic resistance. Plants acquire an increased defense mechanism known as mycorrhiza-induced resistance, also known as MIR, in response to AMF colonization. The interaction between AMF plant roots and the rhizosphere significantly impacts plant growth, development, and health in agroecosystems and natural ecosystems. AMFs defend plants from infection by a variety of pathogens, and a variety of processes have been proposed to account for this capacity. AMFs are unique because they are partly inside and partly outside the root, thus influencing soil microorganisms and plant growth. Various study findings indicate that AM symbiosis requires the activation of multiple genes and numerous protein products to activate the plant's defense mechanisms, and in many cases, the activation is modulated by the emission of VOCs from AMF and/or mycorrhizal association. AMF can alter the emission of volatile organic compounds from plants. AMF hyphae invade the epidermis of the root to colonize cortical cells and create arbuscules, which are made of fungi hyphae ensheathed in modified version of the cortical cell plasma membrane, termed the periarbuscular membrane. Side note, these are sites of exchange for phosphorus, carbon, water, and other nutrients. This interaction enables plants to make a greater use of the soil's natural resources and adjust to various biotic and abiotic restrictions. Both AMF and pathogenic microorganisms can influence plant metabolic pathways and the homeostasis of the plant. To gain better resistance to multiple stresses, many vascular plants could take advantage of symbiosis through the association with AMF. AMF-mediated resistance mechanisms involve both competition for colonization sites and induction of plant defense responses. Upon direct attachment, plants identify their invaders based on their molecular characteristics, like those of herbivore-associated molecular patterns, also known as HAMPs, pathogen-associated molecular patterns, also known as PAMPs, danger-associated molecular patterns, also known as DAMPs, and there are many more. Therefore, AMFs are by far the most prevalent organisms in the soil, where they play an essential role in nutrient cycling, soil fertility, and defense. In natural ecosystems, plants are subjected to various biotic interactions with bacteria, viruses, phytoplasms, fungi, insects, nematodes, and herbivores. Available knowledge indicates that AMF could control the degree of emission of VOCs, and in most cases, such volatiles provide the chemical defense to plants against pathogens. However, despite extensive research on VOC-mediated plant communication, there is still much to learn about the specific mechanisms by which AMFs influence plant VOC emissions and modulate plant defense. The molecular mechanisms of VOCs sensing in plants and mycorrhizal associations also remain unclear. In our quest for knowledge, let's move to the main findings presented. It highlights that VOCs play critical roles in plant interactions with microbes, insect pollinators, and environmental adaptation. Moreover, AMFs have also been shown to influence the emission of VOCs by plants, which in turn contribute to their defense against pathogens. The review stresses the importance of studying the precise volatile signals induced by AMFs, as they activate adaptive responses and elicit defense mechanisms in plants exposed to pathogens. By understanding how plants sense specific VOCs and their functions in plant AMF association, scientists hope to develop genetically modified crop varieties with enhanced resistance to biotic stresses. However, the review also acknowledges the existing gaps in our knowledge. While much research is focused on the interaction between AMFs and plant diseases, less is known about how plants respond to VOCs generated by AMFs and the resulting imparted resistance. Additionally, the molecular mechanisms underlying VOC signaling and its ecological significance under current climatic conditions require further investigation. So what does this mean for the future of agriculture? The review suggests that natural VOCs emitted by plant-mycorrhizal associations have the potential to be used in eco-sustainable agricultural practices. By harnessing the power of these VOCs, we may be able to implement smart strategies for enhancing plant protection against biotic stress. As we wrap up this episode, let's reflect on the significance of the findings presented. AMFs and VOCs play an integral role in the complex web of plant-microbe interactions. By unraveling the mysteries of VOC signaling and understanding how AMFs influence plant defenses, we can unlock new possibilities for crop improvement and sustainable agriculture. And that concludes today's episode of the Botanical Buzz. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of plant-mycorrhizal interactions and VOCs. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll explore more discoveries and plant news. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Botanical Buzz on YouTube and Spotify for more fascinating plant updates. And until next time, I don't know if I like this or not. You'll have to let me know. Keep buzzing with botanical knowledge. I think it's kind of cute. Anyways, thank you for listening to Botanical Buzz, and I'll see you guys next week.